Hello everyone, Dan the 14th Prime here. Today I want to check out with you guys the Hot Toys MMS 342. This is the Batman figure from BVS, Batman vs. Superman, the Batfleck edition. Got him posed up here on the stand, but let's go in closer and check this guy out. So let's museum pose this guy up and just get the wide angle, spin him around so you can check him out here. Again, the suit looks really cool. I think they nailed it spot on. You'll see some great detailing of that closer up. Here he is on the profile view, obviously a big long flowing cape. Pull that back a little bit, you can kind of just check out the suit underneath. Dude's pretty ripped, big muscle suit underneath this guy. All the right detailings with the gold trim on the bat suit. Here he is from the rear, you just see the big flowing cape. This thing's kind of like a pleather almost. It's a lot different than the armored Batman suit, which was cloth. This one's kind of like leatherish, plastic leatherish, pleather. Got some staining kind of across the bottom of the cape. And then here, just give you that other profile view again. You know, pull the cape back again, it's the same, right? But really cool looking figure. So let's go in closer and check him out. So here's Batfleck Close-Up. Did a really nice job with this guy's head face sculpt. There is interchangeable parts, which I'll show you later, but you can basically swap out the eyes. He's got like 3 sets of eyes, and I believe 3 sets of face plates as well. So this is kind of one of the more aggressive looks you can get on him. I've had this guy about a week, so I've been posing him up and tinkering around with them, which is why I've got those in right now. It's not the set that comes out of the box, but kind of a personal favorite. But you can see the cowl looks really cool. It's got all the right texturing in there, molding. It's kind of wrapping around the head. They've got some different types of, facial muscle kind of effects going through the cowl, so that looks really cool. Kind of one of the knocks of the figure is bent a little bit. The way the cowl comes down, comes really close to the top of the bat head right there. But it works okay, but the main thing is it kind of almost floats. And when you go up a little bit, you can see how that just opens up. You can put your finger underneath there. And even when you got a more square on, there's still room under here. So you kind of always have to have his head a little bit almost forward a little bit. It's not too bad. That's straight up there. You can see the gap. You tend to have them like this to get the cowl down. That's been a little bit of a knock on the figure. So let's just go down the figure here, check out the suit. I think they nailed the suit. It looks really nice. A lot of just the detail, the design. Almost like feels like a Under Armour kind of outfit or something, really kind of tight and everything. With a lot of good detailing on it. They got the bat up there. Big sort of muscle suit under this guy. He's all kinds of shredded under there. Some kind of like rubbery foam in there, giving all that effect. Got the gold belt, which looks really good. The gauntlets there, the gloves, all the right detail there. And then I'll just jump down here so you guys can check this out a little more straight on. Okay, just a lot of good texturing through the suit. Big legs on the guy. Again, muscle kind of everywhere. And down into the boot, they've even got the gold accents on the tip of the toes as well. Okay, so we'll spin this guy around to the side, take a closer look. Again, there's the profile. Come down into the suit. See a lot of that fine detailing. Get the side of the gauntlets with the gold trim. Those things are sharp. I find when I'm changing my hands, pinching against those things are sharp. So pretty sturdy. And again, if we just kind of pull the cape back a little bit here, you can see how that looks underneath. And again, let's just jump down here. Again, look at the muscle on this guy. Kind of the way the pants are right now, the butt almost looks ridiculous, but they get him all padded up for muscle effect. Big legs. And then the boots are cool too. Here's the back of the figure. Another area where the cowl, creates some space on the back there. The cowl kind of sits on top of the cape, and then here it sort of goes in underneath it to just sort of fade into the inside of the cape and hide away. but front and back it does create that little bit of lift effect. I'll give you a look at just the long flowing cape here. You can see some of the color they put into it. Again, it has that leather look to it. A lot of sort of folding through it, and then we get down to the bottom, some kind of worn effects there. No wires or anything in the cape. You can't really pose it up, unfortunately, but you can do some things where he can hold it because he's got a lot of different hands. So he can actually hold the cape and sort of throw it around himself. And here I'll just lift the cape up to give you a view. Again, there's the suit. It kind of zips on. Again, more muscle in the back. See how the belt comes around at the back. And again, just that zip suit zipper goes all the way down. All right, so let's go back upstairs, check out the Headsculpt. Batman comes with lots of goodies, and he comes with even lots of goodies for his like face sculpt. So he's got kind of 2 of these face plates. Trying to get them in there so you can see. Those kind of swap in there. So you got kind of a closed mouth and a little bit of an open mouth. So those will go into the cowl. And then he's got 2 other sets of eyes. And honestly, until you get these eyes in, and it's even hard to even tell sometimes, like, what effect is that doing? The one on the left here is clearly giving a little bit of a eyes to the side sort of effect. And this one, straight up, you probably can hardly tell it gives much effect at all, but it'll be something just in terms of like the squinting factor. It'll be very subtle. And I'll show you side by side, but in the cowl, you'll notice the difference more. So to get after those different looks, what you do is you just pull the cowl off. Just lift it straight up. And it should come off like this. If this piece comes off, it's fine. This is just on a ball joint. So the first time I popped the head off, I actually got the whole thing. Just slide that out, put it on the ball joint, kind of set it aside. This is really the piece that you want, which is sort of the head and the cape piece. It's just hollow underneath there. Okay, and you get this wrench looking tool here to help take these pieces out. So the faceplate is actually very easy. Quite hard to get light in there, but it just plugs in. So use this little knob end and just punch out the faceplate. Piece of cake. See how it just plugs in? So you get this look. Just grab another face and you just plug it in. It just goes right in there. Piece of cake. So there's another look we've got. Again, here you've got kind of those angrier eyes, but calmer facial expression in the mouth. Then we got this look, which is slightly open mouth, almost kind of confused look, but you've got that facial expression as well. Okay, so taking out the eye expressions, a little more complicated, but not rocket science. Use this side of the tool. If you want the angle like this, it's kind of just like wedged in there on a couple clips. So you just kind of give it a pop to one side, pop to the other side, and it's going to just sort of dislodge. Okay, kind of twisting and pulling down helps. So again here, just for you to see, these are the 3 sets of eyes lined up. The far right one obviously has eyes going to his left. The left and middle one, I mean, to me, they almost look the same. But again, I think when you get them in the cowl is when the very subtle difference there will actually pop a little more. Okay, so let's try to pick up on the kind of left and center one. So this was the far left one that I showed you. Again, eyes look like they're pretty much just looking straight out. So there we go. Right there, he does look like a worried look. The eyes are kind of wider. We'll try to split screen these. So there's one look. Let's try the other one. Okay, so let's put in that middle one. And from what I can tell looking at him, it looks like this one has kind of more white under the eye. So it's going to give a little bit more of a looking up effect, I think. We'll just need to see them side by side to really tell. But yeah, I could maybe see that. Okay, I'm just going off memory here. But you get more white, like underneath the eye. It gives you a little bit more of a looking up effect. And then here's that third set, again, clearly with the eyes looking to the side. That's very obvious. He's looking left there. You kind of pose like that. It looks like he's looking right at you. If you get a little head twist in there, a little bit of angle to the head or the body. So that's how that looks cool. I think that's a cool look right there. If he's going to be like throwing a batarang or something like that. This here's probably one of my favorites just for fighting poses and stuff. It's got the aggressive face on and then the most kind of centered eyes, kind of looking straight out, straight at you. Okay, so that's it. There you have it. 3 sets of eyes, 3 sets of mouth plates. Switch them around how you like. You just plug that right back on there. Okay, so I mentioned goodies. Batman loves gadgets and goodies, and that's what makes him cool and fun to pose around. He comes with lots of different stuff. No exception here. Hot Toys really giving us a good variety of things. This is the exclusive set, so it comes with that big rifle up top, which was like a tracking device rifle, where he shot a tracking device onto a truck in the movie. You get that. I believe that's the exclusive. The 2-pack exclusive also had a tech cowl. I did not get that, but that certainly looked pretty cool as well. But in here, I guess below the rifle is sort of everything else that you would get with the figure, no matter who you're buying it from. So you get 4 batarangs. You get the grapple gun or grapple blaster, whatever it's called there, which looks really cool. And it has a few different attachments, like a long shooting grapnel. You know, it's not yet extended. It's got one that looks like it's kind of wiggling, shooting out. And then you got the hook. There's sort of 3 different ways you can pose that up. It's got some kind of extra grapnel things that just plug on there, which I'll show you. You get the grenade gun and 2 grenades. Again, just sort of like Armored Batman came with those exact same 3 pieces. So they include them here as well. You get a brand, Bat brand, then you get 6 extra sets of hands in addition to the 2 that are on the figure. Let's check some of these out a little closer. So here's that exclusive sniper rifle, which is really cool, looks really nice. Even got these like kick down legs on springs, which is cool. It's got a clip here. It comes out. There is a round in there. You can see the round there. One thing with this clip is it doesn't snap too securely in there, so I have a problem with the clip falling out quite a bit. But you got the big scope there, barrel, everything looks really cool. See some kind of vent holes in the barrel up there. Yeah, that stand comes down. Can't see through the scope or anything, but when you flip around to the side here, there goes that clip, like I said. It does have working bolt action, so you can actually pull that back, push it forward, put your bolt back down. So that is pretty cool. But again, that interacts with that clip, and that's where I have a hard time. Final thought here on the sniper rifle is the scope actually comes off too, so you can just slide that off. I like to have the gun looking just like that. You can do that. It just goes on these glides really, so easily slides off and on. So he also has the grapnel blaster here, which is super cool, very nicely done. And you know, I think with the wood on the handle, you get a little bit of better wood grain effect on this piece. But this is really cool with kind of the gunmetal look to it. Some wear from a paint perspective on there. And again, it has a few different types of attachments you can use. Okay, so first of all, it's just got the regular hook. Just in there, plug it in the front here. And it can just sit in there like that. Now my beef with all these grapnel hook attachments, they're all cool. I have a hard time getting any of them to really stay in that well. See, boom, straight out. But I mean, I just don't get it. Like what good is this gonna do if you don't have confidence that it's gonna stay in there? So I guess if you're holding it perfectly, if you can get them to hold it just like this, it's fine. It'll kind of balance. But if you're trying to have them, you know, have the gun down or anything, things come out too easy. That's disappointing. So we have this other attachment, which is sort of the swirly kind of shooting effect there. Like the wire's just coming out. The grapnel hasn't really sort of hooked or anything yet. Again, that can plug in there like that. That can go in there a little bit deeper than I thought. That actually might stay. Yeah. So you can get this effect like the gun's just been shot. So that's pretty cool. And it actually does go in there deep enough that it will stay. I was having a gripe with this one too falling out, but maybe I just wasn't pushing it deep enough in. So that works and looks pretty cool. And then lastly, you get like this really long one, which just gives you a longer shooting effect. Again, plug it into the end. Yep, there you go. Stuff it down in there far enough, it will stay. You just get a longer blast effect. Again, you can compare that to like what this one was sort of looking like, which was like this. But again, the grapnel blaster is very nice, very nicely done. You see it's got like these other peg areas here. So it comes with like ammo. Like this is a grapnel hook, like I guess how it would be stored. And the way the directions show it, it should kind of just slide in there like that. And there's 2 of them you can put on there. So it looks cool, but again, this is another thing where getting these to stay doesn't work. Like 0 confidence for that to stick on there. So that's what it looks like all decked out, which is cool because it's like got some like extra grapnels, you know. You know, if you could have this guy in there too, looking pretty sweet. You can check that out. Try and put a little more darkness on it so you can see it. Again, looks cool, but these pieces, like nothing is going to stay here. That's actually staying better than anything has so far. So getting things to actually peg in there, stick around, is not very reliable. So here's a batarang. Again, you've got 4 of these, kind of pretty standard. I believe Armored Batman came with a couple of these as well. So 4 of those just for extras. He really can't handle more than 1 at a time in terms of the hand accessories he has or storage on him. But nice to have some extras. So here we have the grenade launcher gun. Again, same piece that came with the Armored Batman. You get a little bit of kind of stock action there, which helps him with posing it and getting it in his hand and working it against his arm. It's a nice piece. You get a little metal clip there, a couple of them. Just, you know, kind of black. Nice molding in there with some grip effects through here. Detailing up top through the handle. You know, it's simple, but it's exactly how it should be and looks really, really good. It also comes with 2 grenades. This is one of them. Kind of a closed one. You can go in the barrel, but it's not going to stay in there, right? It'll just fall right out. You can hold them as well. So you got that one, and you got this one, which is kind of exploding. It's opened like it would be igniting. But again, you can't trust them to stick in there. So all consistent with the Armored Batman. So cool that they give them to you here as well. Okay, so now we get into the hands. He comes with 2 fists. These are what come on the figure. And they look good. Nice black leather gloves with the gold accents. Simple closed fist. You got some detailing on the palm there. So these come on the figure, kind of like fighting pose accessories. And really all the other hands are unique. So he has this a more open hand, a wave almost, a stop. It's good for kind of like holding the other side of the gun. That can work with it. So he's got that. He has this hand here. I believe this one is for the brand. And apologies, I actually skipped showing the brand. So here is the Bat brand. You can see how that looks. He's got some kind of burn effect on it, like he's been heating that thing up. And then just a handle on the back. You can see how this hand is like got a gap between the fingers there. Like so. There you go. You got the Bat brand. That goes with that. You get this right hand. This is very much a batarang pinch holding hand. So when you grab a batarang and just kind of slide that into the little pinch grip, that's what that's going to look like. Okay, so we're on the home stretch of hands. I mentioned he obviously has a lot of unique hands. I'm pulling the hands off the figure here, just kind of catch up. I showed this open hand before, which kind of looks like a wave or a stop, or can kind of hold the underside of a barrel. Actually has two of these. So I'm mistaken by saying just one before. There's a left and a right of these hands. And then he also has a left and a right of these hands, and these are basically like the gun hands. You can hold the guns, hold the grenades, things like that. So here you can see how that looks holding the grapnel blaster. Kind of got his left hand there. It's got, just a little bit of a trigger finger. We grab the grenade launcher gun. The trigger finger doesn't get quite in a perfect place, so he's kind of off the trigger. But that's what that will look like holding that gun. And then if you go for the big rifle, it looks like this. And he really just kind of has it sitting in his palm. Trigger does line up very nicely. See how he's just kind of resting in his palm, kind of thumb on top. Then just trying to do the final holding piece, trying to see what holds a grenade. You actually have to use the bat iron hand. So I think it makes a tight enough grip to hold one of those loose grenades. Gun hand wouldn't do it. So last accessory thing I'll show you here is the stand. These are all consistent across the figures. If you've seen any of the videos, you've seen these things. That pops up, which is cool. I like that as a display option. There's still room for the figure's feet back here, so I've typically got them kind of, whether it's Armored Batman or Superman, that BVS logo up. I think that's different and looks cool. But if you want more space to actually have more posing room for the feet, you just flip it down. That's fine too. So pretty simple stand in terms of, it's just a pull with the crotch grabber, but very much a lot better than I think some of the Marvel stands that we've been seeing for like Civil War. This looks better and gives you more options. So definitely like these BVS stands. So in terms of articulation, I'm just going to do some poses here. I think it's a little more interesting to show you, but here's kind of in the directions. You can get some twist through the torso, some bend back and forth in the torso. But they say just watch out. Again, he's got that big muscle suit underneath there, that kind of foamy thing that makes him all jacked. So, if you go too far with that, I think you could damage that muscle suit is basically what they're saying there. Legs pretty good, 70 degrees, kind of splits, thigh up 70 degrees, knee bends 90 degrees. So I'll show you that. That's good. Arms pretty well as well, pretty good as well. Comes up 90 degrees, elbow 90 degrees. They say kind of watch out for the twist a little bit there. The suit can kind of move around. I think you just need to kind of manage that. Watch out for these spikes, like I said. Changing his hand, I have been poking myself quite a bit with those things. They're sharp and they're hard. All right, so here's in a basic kind of fighting pose. Again, would be nice if the cape could be a little more static in the way you want to move it and hold it in certain positions. That might be a little bit better look there. I will say I'm just glad they give him pretty good articulation. And it's all in the suit. If they were going to do this guy like they did Ant-Man and come out with just crappy articulation, that would have been a nightmare, just a mess. But again, the suit's kind of like this Under Armour material. It's kind of thin, it kind of moves around on him, but at least it does allow for him to move around. I'm just kind of holding him here, but you can see that you can get some of that twist kind of in the torso, like he's coming down. We're throwing a punch downward. Got some crunch, some twist. And I'm just sort of holding him here because he can't exactly balance like this, because I have him leaning forward quite a bit. Again, here's that same pose, different angle. Kind of holding his back foot here to hold him up. Pose here shows him getting his arms above his head pretty well. He's leaning back a little bit. I'll show a different angle. Balances well by himself. Heads up a little bit. Try not to do it too much to pop loose too much the cowl and show a big gap. But he gets a nice up effect. Here it is from the profile. And I'll stretch that up a little bit more here. Yeah, it's okay. You start to see that cowl just come up more and more. That's the thing that looks funny, but you can do it. You can get him back more, up more. So you can do it. The backward movement's pretty good. It's actually better than the crunch movement. Get him here in a batarang throwing position. Here I've got that one of those gun holding hands actually trying to hold his cape around the front of him, around his side. This is what that looks like more straight on. You can see I've got him kind of twisted back a little bit to get the cape going around this way. The weird thing is you actually have to turn his head back, and that will allow the cape to kind of come around, and I've just got it wedged in his hand right there. So you can do that. Would be better if the cape and the head weren't so dependent on each other. Ideally, I like to have his head looking that way and still be able to swing the cape around, but it gets all kinds of weird folds up there in the corner. It's not as fluid looking. That's basically what that looks like. If I get him looking the way he wants to throw and then trying to bring the cape around, get this nasty kind of fold effect in there, which doesn't look good at all. It doesn't really lay down snipe in the movie, but you can sort of get that effect there. It's nice because you can actually move the form pieces around and get those in the right position so they're out of the way. Could probably get him even lower still if I wanted to, but you can get him close to a sniper pose, which is cool. You can actually use the stands and everything. Check him out there holding his gun pretty well. That looks cool. Pretty basic lower body stance. Could take that even farther. I'm not jacking around a lot with the eyes and face pieces, but you could put those left looking eyes in there and kind of even get more of a looking left, shooting left sort of pose, which would be even cooler. Really quick here, guys. The box, Batman, BVS. Pretty cool. Reminds me of the Armored Batman box a little bit. It's got the cityscape in the background, the bat signal, BVS logo, some shots of Batman doing some stuff in there, BVS logo at the bottom. Cool kind of gray looking grayscale. It's a shoebox effects, kind of gives a little bit of just an angle on the side. Got the Movie Masterpiece Series there. Fine lettering down the side here. Back of the box has got all the busy work, all the language, all the warnings, whatever. Bunch of stuff you can't read. Top of the box there. So when you pop off the cover, you come here, kind of an insert here, Batman, MMS 342. It's got all the folks involved in the project. And it's got a photo there of Batman. That might be product shot. So the way that cowl's doing that, it looks like product. It's really, really good, though. Really good picture. The way it grayscales out, it's almost tough to see, like, is that a picture from the movie or is that the figure? Not entirely sure, but looks pretty cool. All right, guys, so there you have it. I think I showed you most of what's up with this guy, and it's cool. I mean, the figure looks awesome. The suit is sweet, and I love the material because it actually provides articulation and poseability. Unlike, say, like Ant-Man, had this leather suit on that the guy just couldn't move an inch in. Batman's got good articulation, and that's important because the moment Hot Toys starts making figures like a Batman that just can't be posed and articulated, then that would just be really, really disappointing. So I'm glad they're not deprioritizing articulation too much as they continue to make these figures more and more awesome looking. You know, they got to have some playability. They got to have some look to them on the shelf. And this guy's definitely got all of that in spades in different ways, right? So super cool figure. Hope you liked the video. I'll see you next time. Hello everyone, Dan 14th Prime here. Want to check out with you guys today the Batman vs. Superman 6-scale armored Batman here from Hot Toys. There the guy is. He's a beast.